This amazing email from a student that contains a lot of chutzpah, a lot of guts. I got this email from Ayla, and Ayla is a junior in high school. And Ayla says, I've struggled in school since before I can even remember. I know what that feels like. Now going into my senior year, I still have so many unanswered questions. How was it that I was able to teach myself to be proficient in 3 different instruments, but I have trouble utilizing basic math skills? She asks. I was tested for ADD in 7th grade. The test results clearly showed that my ADD consists of issues with execution, basic math skills, and processing ability. However, my comprehension skills were in the 90th percentile. Not sure the exact number. I approached the person who tested me with the idea that I might fall under the 2E category, and she told me that my comprehension skills would have placed me into that category, but that I missed it by a few points. Is it worth getting retested? I'm no longer satisfied with, quote, not being smart enough. I can give you additional reasons why I believe I'm 2E. I mapped it out in a notebook. Thank you, Ayla. So Ayla wrote me this letter. Ayla, thank you. You rock. That takes a lot of guts to write me. Not many students write me. And it says a lot about you. And I'm going to talk about that in a moment too. So I want to go over this letter a little bit. I've struggled since before I can remember. Now you're going into your senior year. You have a lot of unanswered questions. Ayla, the fact that you're even asking these questions right now at this point in your life, you're a junior, shows that you're an extremely deep human being. You're a deep thinker, you're a deep feeler, you're an intelligent human being who really cares about yourself and figuring yourself out, because stuff matters to you, life matters to you. You want to figure this out. The fact that you're questioning this is rare, and it says a lot about you. It says you're a really amazing human being, and you've got a lot to give the world. I don't mean to put pressure on you, but I think that's pretty cool. How was it that I could teach myself to be proficient in 3 instruments and have trouble utilizing basic math skills? Well, I'm going to tell you ways that people have trouble using basic math skills. One reason some people have trouble utilizing basic math skills is because they had an experience earlier in life in a math class when there was trauma. It could have been from another student, it could have been shame from the teacher, it could have been something going on inside of you. But as you were trying to develop these math skills, you may have had some sort of trauma, some sort of extraordinarily stressful situation going on where your mind kind of shut down, and that created a bunch of holes in math. I'll talk more about that in a moment. It could also be that you have a legitimate math disability called dyscalculia, which many people have and don't even know that they have it. So that's a possibility. You mentioned processing, and processing and attention go hand in hand. And if you were having trouble processing and the teacher is going at 1,000,000 miles an hour and you're like, whoa, you're going way farther than I'm ready to go right now, especially if you're stressed anyway or have experiencing stressful trauma type things and you're in this class and they're just going ahead and you're like, whoa, that could cause a lot of holes or gaps in what was going on with learning math. And some of my students are really good at math concepts, but they're just not good at calculation. So they can do the concepts fine, but they're not good at working memory, which means keeping track of these things in mind. And one of the things that happens a lot with middle schoolers is a lot of times middle schoolers in particular, when it comes to math, they've been able to do all the math in their head, and suddenly the teacher says, show your work, and they don't feel like showing their work, but the complexity of the work is getting too difficult for them to track all the details in their head, but they are resistant to showing their work. And so they start feeling like they're not good at math, when in fact they are, but they're not willing to show their work. So there's a bunch of reasons why you might have struggles with the math skills. I don't know if any of those resonate. I would love to hear if any of them do resonate. I don't know you well enough to know from this letter. You go on to say you were tested for ADD. It showed that you had trouble with execution, basic math skills, and processing ability. However, my comprehension skills were in the 90th percentile. So, if you're 2E, and the label in a way doesn't matter. However, the discrepancies that 2E kids have cause a lot of problems. So if you're way high in something, for example, you say comprehension, and way low in something, let's say processing, then you get into a very difficult situation. And here's how the situation looks. A lot of times, your parents or teachers will say something like this. We know you can do it. We know you're smart enough. We know you're smart. And they're well-meaning. I'm not trying to be cynical, but they know that you can do it. And they're baffled. So their mind goes to, why can't she do it? Well, it must be that she's either lazy, or she's not trying hard enough, or she's not doing her best, or she doesn't care. And these messages are shaming, and they are not taking into account what is going on in the brain, and that there might be something else going on. So they attribute it to those things mistakenly. I'm not trying to blame them or make them look bad or feel bad, but that shame story can go really deep with you. And it might, and because of another sentence that you said, I suspect it probably does. Anyhow, you said that that you approached the person who tested me with the idea that you might be 2E. She said your comprehension skills would have placed you there, but that you missed it by a few points. Is it worth getting retested? My question to you would be, why? Why do you want to get retested? Are you going to get some kind of service or extra help or more understanding or something like that? I don't know, and I doubt it. I would say what's going to happen is, this is your senior year, you want to really hope to get the best teachers you can. Great teachers, it doesn't matter what your paperwork says, they are able to read you and really connect with you. And part of your responsibility as a student is to connect with your teachers, give them a chance, get to know them on a personal level. The more you advocate for yourself and get to know them and say, hey, this isn't working for me. Don't shame me. Don't tell me I'm not trying hard. I'm trying. I want to succeed in here. I want to get to know you and give you a fair chance, but you got to give me a fair chance. This isn't working for me. How can we make this work for me? So if you're going to advocate for yourself with teachers, that's one of the best things that you can do. Maybe there's a reason to get retested. I just am not sure why. And if you email me and tell me why, I might say, yeah, go ahead and get retested. But I would just really look out for having some great teachers, connect with the great teachers, learn as much as you can. And, but I do love your next sentence. You said, I'm no longer satisfied with not being smart enough. And that feels bad. That's a feeling. You don't feel smart enough, right? And that can feel horrible. And that comes from, we get internal validation and we get external validation. When we are externally validated, that means that somebody is telling us, oh, you're good enough, you're smart enough, you're okay enough, you're cool enough, you're whatever enough. And that's the outside telling us, telling us. Internal validation is when you say, I'm good enough, I'm worth this, I don't care what anybody says, I know I'm smart, I know I'm talented, I know I'm good at these things, this stuff matters to me, I'm going to listen to my own gut. Now, of course, people can get arrogant or cocky in that way, and I'm not suggesting to do that because that poses other problems, that gets into ego and that gets into other difficulties. So obviously I'm not saying that, but when you know that you're good at something or you're smart enough or you're capable of something and it may not show on paper or your parents may not notice or the system may not notice or stuff like that, sometimes you really have to let that go because you're going to experience that a lot in life. And you want to build and build and build and build your internal validation. You want to strengthen. It's like working a muscle, really checking in with yourself and saying, hey, can I listen to myself? What do I think? And there are a lot of very strong, powerful messages out there from the media, from peer pressure, from adults that will externally validate or invalidate you inappropriately. And you want to really always check in with your own heart, your own gut, your own internal validation system and strengthen that system over the next year, over your senior year, over the rest of the summer. That's a great thing to do. So you said you can give me additional reasons why you believe you're 2E. You mapped it out in a notebook. You can give me those or not, but I don't think you need to. You probably know. Okay, you know that you got these strengths and you got these weaknesses, and there's a big discrepancy between them, and it causes confusion and problems. And you're getting to know yourself. So I'm going to go on with a few other concepts that I think are relevant to this, Ayla, and I think you'll find this helpful. My first thing that I want to share with you is, what do you want, Ayla? What's important to you? Okay. What you want is, you want to be happy and you want to feel successful in life. Okay. You want to feel smart enough, as you said before. How are you going to be happy in life? How are you going to be successful? Forget about grades. Forget about all this stuff. Forget about perfectionism. Forget about, so you probably want them to really see you for who you are. That may or may not happen. But we do. We want to feel heard. We want to feel felt. We want to feel seen. We want to be noticed. We want to be appreciated. And it doesn't always happen. But ultimately, you want to feel happy and successful in life. You want to feel smart enough. You want to feel seen. And the way that you're going to feel seen and noticed and heard and understood and known in this lifetime is to do you. And that's hard, because you have to sift through all of the static, all of the noise in the world, and you have to go into your heart and say, who am I? What matters to me? What kind of life do I want to create? Because I will tell you, Ayla, you get to create whatever future you want. You can create a miserable future. You can create a hopeless future. You can create an incredible future, an exciting future. None of them are easy, but you can create the future you want. You can create a great future. You can launch a great future, and education is the key. So the first thing I wanted to say is that, what do you want? Figure out what you want. Start journaling about what you want. Don't look for a 2-word answer like happy and successful. Like, really, what is happiness to you? What is success to you? And you may write it in your journal, and in a month you may have a completely different definition. You may have a different definition in a day, but start exploring, what do you want? What is happiness and success to you? What would it be like to feel like you're smart enough? What does it mean to do you? What matters to you? Next, I want to talk about this phase in your life. You get to explore. Again, forget about grades and classes and standardized tests and how things look on paper and resumes and prepping for college and all this stuff. You're in an exploratory time. You're in a great time in your life when you get to explore creativity, art, human beings, types of people, careers. You get to explore classes, teachers, subject areas. You get to be on like this amazing exploration. Life is like a giant museum to you, and you get to go explore it. And I have a student right now that I'm starting with who just did a gap year and now is starting their first year of college. And I was like, I don't know why more people don't do gap years. I think they're incredible. And I said, do you have any regrets about doing the gap year? And she's like, no, absolutely not. So gap years can be really important and can be really great. You're not going to be behind. You know, people have a lot of misconceptions about gap year. So you might want to look at a gap year and look at that gap year as more time to explore. And it doesn't have to be a year. It can be whatever. But you get to explore. You get to be an explorer. You get to really investigate things and find out who you are and what you're made of and what matters to you. You may not know all about that yet. It takes time. So next, I want to talk about, in this next year, your senior year, I want you to focus on learning, not grades. What can you learn? Go into this year and say, hey, what can I get out of this year? What can I learn this year? Not how can I make my resume look good? How can I look good to colleges? How can I make my grades up? Those things will probably come a lot easier when you focus on what can I learn? What can I learn about me? What can I learn about other human beings? What can I learn about psychology? What can I learn about things that interest me? What can I learn about creativity and life? And what can I learn in my classes? What can I learn from this teacher, this person who, whether or not I, think they're a great teacher, like they've dedicated some time in their life to teaching this thing, maybe I can learn something from them. So we'll focus on what you can learn right now. Next, I come back to what I had in question number 1, but what matters to you? What is meaningful to you? Really focus on those questions. Is it animals? Is it plants? Is it the environment? Is it helping human beings? Is it music? Is it art, creativity? And start exploring what are the things that matter to you and what matters to you most, and what kind of changes do you want to make in the future, because you don't have to grow up and just get a job. You get to show up in the world any way you want. You can be a change maker. You can be an influencer. You can do anything you want in this lifetime. Anything you want. Next question I have for you is, why education? What is the purpose of education? Why does it matter? And the purpose of education should be to launch you, to give you the tools to be able to launch you so that you have a great future. Not to push you so that after high school or college you flop, okay? It should launch you. So just go back to that. Why am I here? Why am I in school? Why am I doing a senior year? Well, because I want to launch. I want to be able to launch my future my way, for me. Not for anybody else, not to be externally validated, not to be told I'm doing it right or I'm doing it good enough, or I am good enough, or I am valuable, but for me. I am getting my education. I am learning what I can for me so I can launch a great life. Now, having said that, I happen to believe that one of the secrets to launching a great life is service, is giving back, is creating a future where you are helping. You're not just trying to make a bunch of money or something like that, but you're actually trying to do something that matters to you, where you're making a difference. That's where the joy in life and a lot of the sweetness in life comes from. So you're doing it for you, but in a weird way, you're doing it for others as well. You're developing who you are so that you can give back to others. So why education was the next question. What's the purpose of education? Next thing that you have an opportunity to do in the senior year is to develop your metacognition, your introspection, your self-reflection, learning about who you are as a feeler, who you are as a thinker, who you are as an intellectual being, an emotional being, a social being. You get to develop metacognition, introspection, self-reflection, self-awareness, mindfulness, consciousness. They're all basically the same thing. It's an awareness of who you are and what makes you tick and what matters to you. So if you consciously go into this senior year and say, I want to grow as a human being. I want personal growth, personal development. I want to do me. I want to develop me. I want to grow me. And I want to be more introspective, more reflective, more metacognitive, more conscious, more self-aware, more mindful. The more mindful you live, the better quality of life you're going to have, the more you're going to be able to live well, give well. So develop metacognition is the next one. And the next one, I have two more, is that, Ayla, you've got chutzpah. You've got guts. You're going to do big things. People don't write me this. This is not normal. You are not normal. And I say that in the best possible way. You are an atypical human being with an atypical brain. You are neuroatypical. Things matter deeply to you, Ayla. The world needs you. We need people like you to develop who they are. You are the future. You are one of the people that are going to make a difference in the world. We need lots of people like you, but you are one of them. A lot of people don't ask the questions that you're asking. You are going to do big things. You're destined for big things. You ask for help. Who does that? Not many people do that. That's called humility. People don't ask for help often until things get horrible. So for somebody your age to be sending me an email and saying, dude, help me a little bit. What do you got? That's humility. That's personal growth. That's someone who is introspective, who is deep, who has something to offer. And finally, Ayla, or anybody who's watching, parents, teachers, finally, my final comment to you, after all of this intensity, after I've been going on and on for 18 minutes and 34 seconds, after all this is said and done, the final thing I need to say to you is play, smile, laugh, have fun, wear life like a loose jacket. Don't take yourself too seriously. Don't take things too seriously. Enjoy this life. Enjoy this day. This is the only day you got right here, right now, this moment. What is going on? Like, how can you lighten it up? How can you lighten the load? How can you lighten your shoulders? How can you take a deep breath and enjoy what is going on around you? Enjoy the weather. Enjoy the amazing people in your life. Enjoy the good that you have. Enjoy how amazing you are, how much heart you've got. Appreciate the things that you can appreciate. Take time to be grateful. Take time to be happy, joyful, peaceful, free from your own thoughts and your own worries about all of these things. Go out now, have a great day, and play a little bit. Go play, go smile, go laugh, go play. I'll see you guys soon. Oh, if you're on YouTube, go ahead and click subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm almost to 1,000 viewers. Thank you all. And if you haven't subscribed to my blog, sethperler.com, I explore topics like this all the time. Check out my blog, share it with someone, leave a comment below if you want. And Ayla, again, I cannot tell you how much I appreciate the chutzpah and the guts that it took to write this. Now go enjoy yourself, play, have a great day.